So my name is Preet and I'm based in Vancouver on the Dash 8 and I'm a first officer. I've been at Jazz for almost 2 years in July, and most of that's been based in Vancouver, but I was able to be based in Montreal and Toronto before I came out here. So it's kind of funny because I hear lots of typical stories from people saying that they were kids when they knew that they wanted to be a pilot, from the age of 3 or 4. But you know what? I, funny enough, did not like airplanes when I was a kid. I would get sick on them. My dad would force me to go to an air show and I just wouldn't go with him. And I grew up and I just decided I wanted to do something really fun and exciting. I saw a couple of pilots walking down the terminal and it just kind of struck me that that would be something awesome to do. So I went to Coastal Pacific Aviation out in Abbotsford, so I did an accelerated program through there, and it was a 1-year program. Took a little bit longer with some hiccups along the way due to weather, but I finished all my ratings within a year and a half. And luckily for me, right after that, I started flying Navajos out of the same airport out in Abbotsford. Did that for about a year and a couple of months, and then went over to Pacific Coastal Airlines onto the Saab and the 1900 for about another year and a couple of months, and then I was hired at Jazz and I've been here for a couple of years now. So a typical pairing at Jazz starts even before the pairing even begins. So the day before, make sure I get my lunch ready, uniform is all pressed, bags are packed to go. Typically I do 4-day pairings, so I'm away from work or from home a few days at a time, so I like to be prepared on the road. And usually I do mornings, so usually I'm at work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and we check in, go to the crew room, meet the captain, flight attendant, get our weather, our flight planning, check anything that needs to be checked on our flight plan, make sure everything's good to go, and it kind of starts from there. Grab a cup of coffee, head to the gate, and the first thing we do is we do a pre-flight on the aircraft and do a little quick walk around, make sure everything looks good, and then hop in, get the programming done in the aircraft, and from there on it just becomes kind of second nature to get the aircraft ready and the flight ready, and board up all the passengers and off we go. In my experience, I've worked for a couple of other companies before, but our Jazz training program is really good. They make it really easy. Everyone's there to support you. It's structured very well, so you're not overwhelmed. You've got lots of days off in between, so you have time to study on your own, and then you meet with the instructors. We do ground school, so some of it's done online, so we read up on our own, and then we're sitting in a classroom talking to the instructors. They explain things. Then we go into what's called an IPT, so basically it's computer screens of the aircraft, so you learn all the buttons and you know where everything is, you learn the flows, and then finally once you're ready you get into a simulator where you go in, you practice the day-to-day stuff, all your typical programming and things like that. But not only that, every possible emergency that you might encounter, and we're trained for it to become second nature, so that when we are faced with something like that, if we are, that we're calm and collected. It's not, it doesn't become a scary thing. It's just something that we deal with on a, regular day, perhaps. I think one of my biggest highlights was meeting our Minister of Defense at the Tim Hortons lineup at the domestic area at YVR. So standing in line, just getting ready for the flight, and I thought I'd grab a coffee, and I look up and there he is standing in line, a couple people ahead of me, and of course I'm starstruck, oh my goodness, this guy's awesome, I need to go say hi. So there I am in my hat, walking over, and I'm like, hello sir, just need to say hi to you, just want to say you're an inspiration, and something that I was not expecting was for him to turn around and say, no, like I saw you in the lineup and thought you're an inspiration, because it's you don't see very many female pilots, and so it was just great to get that from him. And I think it kind of struck me by surprise that somebody else thinks that that's kind of a big deal. And then I had the chance to actually fly him later that day, so it was great. He shook my hand before he left the aircraft, so it was kind of a nice thing to see that you could be showing up to work not expecting anything, and there you are, you meet somebody that's kind of a big deal in Canada. I think some really good advice for a new pilot is just to work really hard and don't let the bad days get to you. Like any other job, you're going to have ups and downs, and sometimes, especially during the winter, we deal with lots of interesting challenges in terms of weather, de-icing, delays, and I think that can really bring somebody down, especially in a time of year where most people are spending time with their families during the holidays, and here you are stuck for 4 days by yourself somewhere. I think that's probably the biggest thing, but if you can stick it out, I'd say keep in touch with your family and friends, enjoy your days off, and most importantly, take full advantage of the travel benefits. Bid your schedule so you can get a week off every month, and go to Hawaii for a couple of days, go to Mexico for a couple of days. I think that's one of the biggest perks of this job. I think Jazz is a great company to work for because the training standards are fantastic, just from previous experiences. Not only that, but I found it's just kind of just a big family here. Everyone's great. Everyone is super nice. The senior people have so much to teach, and I think that's kind of the nice thing is that we have lots of senior people at this company, but then you have the opposite scale where there's some very junior people coming in, and you get skill levels of 30 years experience to 30 days of experience, and everyone just works so well together, and you can be flying with somebody that you've never met before, and by day 4 you've become best friends, and next thing you know you're going out for lunch on your days off. So I think it's great because everyone's so supportive of each other. Not only that, I think the opportunities, whereas we have different airplanes that you can fly, you're not stuck on one type. If you feel like you're getting into a rut, you just after a couple of years, you can bid for something else. And especially now, I think because the industry's doing so well, there's so much movement. It's really, you don't have to wait a very long time to get an upgrade. So, if you want a challenge, you can become a captain, and that's something that you can try. And the routes are constantly changing, so you're not really stuck doing the same thing for a very long time.